was dancing a little bit, I'll admit. Were you dancing, Kendra,
It's
or was
good
that just
music.
me?
I was definitely nodding my head to the beat.
Sometimes I think I'm going to change it up because I get bored with my own music, but I'm like, it's got a kind of a fun vibe to it and
It
everything.
does.
Hey everyone, good morning and welcome to my edition of LinkedIn Live. I like to call this Social Media Pie, which is an acronym because I bring on inspiring people to inform and educate you. And today I am delighted because I have on with me Kendra Corman. How are you doing today, Kendra?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Good. We're here in Michigan kind of bracing for this snowmageddon that I thought we were supposed to get overnight. And then I woke up this morning and looked outside and it's warm and raining. It's weird, right?
Yep. Yeah, my husband and I were talking. I was like, I had to pack when I went to the office to potentially like hunker down here if I can't get home and down our street.
Right, exactly. Well, we're prepared for anything here in Michigan. And as we get started, I just put a ticker on the screen here to remind anyone who's watching us live, could you guys do us a favor and please just quick drop a comment below. Let us know if you can see and hear us because technology is great when it works. Every now and again, Kendra, I do one of these broadcasts and for some reason doesn't push it to LinkedIn or the LinkedIn people don't receive the stream and we're talking to ourselves and no one else is watching. So I always like to say this is the equivalent of the pre-pandemic when we tapped the microphone and said, can you guys hear me in the back? And then the people in the back said, yep. And they would give us the thumbs up or they would do the universal, I can't hear you, like the I can't hear you. So that's our way of knowing whether the live stream is working. I see one of our common friends, Carrie Lizette, watching us. Hey, Carrie. So it looks like we are live and going to town here. So awesome. So we're going to keep going with the conversation today. We're going to be having a chat about how to develop content ideas for your marketing efforts. And this is a really great continuation of my conversation I had yesterday with Ariel Lee, where we were talking about giving engagement to get engagement. And that's kind of on the back end, right? This is really the front end, the planning of content marketing and what do you even post on LinkedIn and how do you incorporate different things into your marketing ideas. Before we jump into that, just want to tell you guys the backstory of how I know Kendra. And we did a pre-show conversation and I was thinking, did we meet through Inforum? But I think you said Kendra was probably through the Troy Chamber. Is that right?
Mhm. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it was the chamber first and then in forum.
And we keep weaving in and out of each other's lives, like through
Yes.
different. I always feel like if I'm in a place where you are, I'm like, okay, good. I'm in the right place where
Aw,
I should be.
and I think the same thing.
Well, I'm delighted to chat with you today. So, for those folks who don't know you, Kendra, why don't you tell us a little bit about you and your business?
Okay. So my name is Kendra Corman, and I have over 15 years of experience. I met with a resume writer that said you shouldn't say 20 plus, because then that makes
Good.
you old. So 15 plus years of experience in marketing and advertising. I started my career at a newspaper in central Pennsylvania, but ended my time at Chrysler, which I moved on to next. I was the Jeep advertising manager and the SRT marketing manager, and my claim to fame is I learned to drive a Viper on the Rolex 24 course at Daytona, which was awesome.
Nice.
And then I went to a wholesale insurance company, which was fantastic. I learned so much there in the world of B2B marketing. And then I started my own company, H2H Consulting, and that where I did individual, or do I should say, individual marketing. I work as like an outsourced marketing director for my clients. And I've just actually rolled out a coaching business where I am helping people learn to do better content marketing and email marketing. So
Wonderful. And you're kind of my go-to person for a lot of times when I'm approached by clients and I come from a corporate marketing background. When I first launched my business, I was doing marketing management, marketing strategy, a bunch of different things, event management, things like that, and social media management. And then LinkedIn was like a little niche of it. And then and you may have gone through the same process too. When you start your own business, you kind of do a little bit of everything because you need to get your business off the ground. You need money, right? Because you don't get a
yeah,
paycheck. And then you start over time realizing I like doing this more than that, or there's more opportunity here than there. And it's almost like the 80-20 rule. You start kind of shifting things over. And then I started realizing LinkedIn is really what I love doing and where I solely want to focus. But I would still have people approaching me for marketing work and for email marketing work and all these other things. And this is part of the reason I surround myself with people like Kendra, because I've referred business to Kendra. And on the flip side, Kendra, you've sent business over to me as well. So
Yep.
I think it's really a nice compliment to have each other as referrals, right?
Yeah, I find that a lot of people are always like, "Why are you talking to your competition?" And I'm like, "They're not my competition." Like, if I'm not the right fit for everybody,
Yeah.
and I'm okay with that. Uh, Not a problem, right? So when I always want to refer people to get the right fit.
Right.
And if I have a Rolodex of a bunch of different people that I can refer to, then that puts me in better standing and tags me as an even more important expert for anybody and everybody that I work with.
Absolutely. And I related to that. I learned this technique too. I'm not sure. I think it might be Liz J. Simpson. We were talking about like who subscribes to your email. When I get people unsubscribing from my email list, I'm actually happy because I'm like, well, they never really wanted to do business with me anyways. They probably signed up to get something or signed up for a free webinar. When they opt out, I'm like, well, okay, that's helping to get a more quality list in place.
Mhm.
Um, so let's jump into that conversation here today. Let's talk about how to develop content ideas for your marketing efforts, Kendra. And there's probably a lot of people that are just feeling overwhelmed, frozen, really not even sure how to start the process. So give us some ideas here.
So, when you start off with trying to develop content ideas for your blog, your podcast, LinkedIn posts, Facebook posts, whatever it happens to be, I love to start by answering questions.
Mhm.
Questions are key, right? So, if you can answer the questions that people are searching for on Google or Bing, for the 5 people that you're using that right now, right? Uh, um, if or YouTube, if you're answering their questions, that showcases you as a even better expert. So you need to think about what people are asking you. So the first place I tell people to start is, what are people asking you? This is something that you're excellent at, Brenda. So if you scroll through Brenda's feed, I'm sure you can find, somebody asked me recently, or somebody asked me today, or I
Mhm.
got a question of. So she's fantastic at that. So take notes. If you have a retail store or employees, take notes of what questions, ask them, check in, once a week. Hey, what questions are you getting regularly? And start with answering those questions. That's one of the best ways to get your information out there, right? So I always want to start with questions.
Yeah.
The second tool, well, the first tool I guess I want to cover is a great website. It's called answerthepublic.com. And the free version is fine, of the website. I use the free version, but it will give you a visual of your question. You type in 1 to 2 words. So, like, I would type in email marketing, and it will give me a list of the questions related to email marketing that people are searching for online. So they'll say, one of the questions that comes up all the time is email marketing dead? And then just change the United Kingdom, Brenda.
Oh, is
Um,
it? I got to change the location.
yeah,
I've
and
seen
then
this
just
site
just do
before.
email
That's really cool.
marketing.
Okay.
Just do email marketing, and
Okay.
sorry, it gets
No,
picky if you guys
I'm
put it.
following you along here. So
Yes,
yeah,
I
this is
know.
great.
Thank you. Sorry, you're doing awesome. So there's 65 questions that people are searching for about email marketing. So
Wow.
it shows you this really cool visual. And then you can also, if you go up a little bit further, oh, yeah,
Oh, how do I close out of this? I don't
click
want
off
this.
of it. I think it's just, if you just click off of it,
Oh.
usually works.
Oh, there's an X. I think I went too
Oh,
large. Okay, so if
there
I
we
go
go.
up, what did you say?
You can click on the data and it'll actually show you in a,
Oh, look at this.
and you can download the CSV for
Hmm.
all of that. And it'll actually give you, like, how email marketing works, how email marketing helps
Nice.
business. So it actually categorizes all of the questions, and it's an amazing tool that I think a lot of people really get a lot out of. Now, you get about 2 free searches a day. They really want you to upgrade, but I think it really works well,
That's cool.
when you're sharing things. And it'll do other things like email marketing verses. And so as you scroll through it, you'll get a ton. You can see there's alphabeticals. There's like over 200 entries related to email marketing.
Wow.
Um,
Look at that.
mhm.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And this is what people are searching. So if you're answering questions that people are searching, that really helps you. It gives you content that answers questions that maybe your audience hasn't asked you yet, that you can share. Again, if you write a blog that answers one of these questions, or a LinkedIn article, or a Facebook post, or do a video, it answers all of those questions for you.
Where are they pulling these questions like from Google, or where are they getting
Mm-hmm.
these questions
Yeah.
from?
Yeah,
Really?
they're pulling from Google.
This is awesome. I've never heard
Yeah.
of the site, and this is going to be like my go-to when I'm stumped on content.
It's my
Because
favorite.
like pick your topic, right? I mean, for me, it might be LinkedIn. For others, it might be leadership coaching, or name your topic here. Technical copywriting. I saw John Aspirian in the comments. So like put a topic in there and then see what questions people are asking about, changing it to your country, like you showed us there. This is
Like,
really
that's the key.
brilliant.
It defaults to Great Britain. It used to default to the US.
Is it from Great Britain? Is that why I wonder if it's defaulting from that area, or
I'm
who knows?
thinking it might be, but I've never done
Yeah.
the research to find out. So
Very cool. I love it.
yeah, no, it's an amazing tool, and it will give you, I mean, you could come up with a year's worth of content off of one search on that site. So it's fantastic. I love it. Then when I run out of searches on Answer the Public, I use a site called keywordtool.io. And again, I use the free version for that. And keywordtool.io works similarly and will actually will show you the questions that people are asking. It's just organized differently, and not quite as like pretty and cool.
So now we
innovative.
gotta show that one on screen
Yes,
too,
you have to
because
show this one.
this
So
sounds like a fun new trick. So okay, so what are we
yeah,
doing
so
here?
this one is you can just go ahead and type email marketing. We'll just use the same one.
Okay. Is
And
email marketing like an area of specialty for you, Kendra? Is that
yes,
something
I
you do
love
a lot
email
of?
marketing.
Okay.
If you're not doing email marketing, then you're losing out on business,
Okay.
no matter what business you're in. So you can see like, if you see down, it's got keyword. If you go down like the third level of sections there next to filter results, it's got keyword suggestions, questions, and prepositions.
Okay.
Right there. Yeah. So if you click on questions,
okay,
you will get you'll get
Wow.
questions that are there, and you'll see it that again, they'll show you search volume data if you upgrade to their pro version. But again, I use the free version because it just gives me ideas and a list of questions and things like that I can identify.
Wow, this is amazing. I mean, yeah, you could use it, but it almost reminds me of like the free version of LinkedIn versus premium. But you can see like who's looked at your profiles, but you can't see everyone. But here you can actually see all the questions. You just can't see the search volume.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then
in
you
here,
can
so.
see like the search volume there is email marketing effective. It's trending down. But is email marketing still effective is trending up.
Right. That's
But again, the search volume is like 20, so I'd still go with it as email marketing effective. But
okay.
so yeah, so it's got a fantastic. These are just fantastic tools. Now, the other thing that keywordtool.io offers is it'll actually allow you to search YouTube, Bing, Amazon, eBay, the Play Store, Instagram, Twitter, all of that, and you'll see those types of things there.
Very cool. So same thing. It's kind of searches for our people. What are the phrases and questions that people are searching for?
Yeah.
It's too bad LinkedIn's not on here. Come on, LinkedIn, step up.
I know. They totally need to.
Yeah, that's very cool though.
So yeah, so just a really neat tools that allow you ways to find questions. And I think questions again are key. And then this will actually give you the hashtags.
This is cool.
That are related to the search terms that you're looking for.
Cool. Yeah, it's very cool.
So,
Thanks for sharing that. I love it. I love learning about new tools, and these are like I've never heard of either of these, so this is like learning for me too.
Yeah, these are fantastic places to to come up with a list of questions. And then again, if you can answer questions that are on people's minds in your email newsletter, again, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, wherever you are sharing content, like you're just adding value, and everything you do should add value.
Right. So many people too, Kendra, I feel like they're using these platforms to try to get business. So they're pushing sales messages like, hey, reminder, book my service. If you need help with XYZ, let's chat, and it's feeling like pushy, right?
Yep.
Versus this approach, if I were to see a post from you that talks about, is email marketing dead? No, actually, the statistics show, and you go on and answer it, I might be like, wow, that's interesting. And at the bottom, then I might be warmed up to click to your profile and then reach out to you to say, can you help me with email
Mhm.
marketing? Right? Is that kind of what this
Yes.
approach is all about?
Yeah, so you're showing yourself as a thought leader, you're
Mhm.
engaging your existing customers, your prospects with content that they want to hear. And you know that they want to hear it because people are searching for it,
Yeah,
right? So it's
that's
questions
brilliant.
on their minds.
Brilliant.
So I love it. And then the last one that I'm going to give you as a tool before we get into some other ideas is Amazon.
Hmm.
So if you go to those look inside previews on books, you can find outlines of content that you could create on books. And oh, by the way, people paid money for the books. So do you have a preview on your or a look inside in your social media pie? I know it's on there.
Are you talking about? Let me pull it up here. I'm just looking on screen. I'm like, what are these things? Oh, my daughter was in my Amazon account recently. There's like stuffed animals and lights for her room and things like that. Social media pie in books. I
Yeah,
think
there you go.
it's weird how I don't know if they don't know enough
There you
about
go.
me, and that's why it takes me a couple levels to get to the to social media pie. So what were you referring to here?
So see that look inside?
Look inside.
The look, it's above your book title or your
Oh yeah, yeah,
book
right here.
picture.
Yep.
So if you look here, you can find content. So if you scroll down through it, you'll
Mm-hmm.
see a table of contents usually in the preview.
Yeah, I think mine is. Sorry, I had like some praise and
No,
things
that's
like that.
good.
Okay, table of contents.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, you can talk about if you go to settings and privacy, you can actually like literally build a whole blog about settings and privacy in LinkedIn, or or a video about it, or whatever it happens to be. This gives you the outline of things that you can post because
So
people
are you
paid for
saying
this
like
product.
are you saying for me using my book as an outline,
No,
I
I
can
would
use that, or
say I would say if somebody else was doing something,
like
like if
competitive
I'm
research kind of thing
mhm,
then, right?
yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, a lot of people write books. What's resonating with people on these different topics?
Okay. Okay. Do you
So,
have a book yet? I'm curious. Have
I
you
do not
witten
have a book.
yet?
That would be yet. Yet
Yeah,
is a
there you
good
go. I got her to
yet is a
commit,
good
guys.
cue.
I got it.
Yeah, yet is important. So,
Yeah. I love it. I mean, there's different ways of looking up and researching content. And let's say you're just getting started with whatever it is you're doing as an offering, consulting, coaching, etc. I mean, there's people that have come before you um, that you can learn from, and you can kind of look at what are the topics that other people are covering.
mhm,
For me, like when I was writing my LinkedIn book, I didn't want to like copy what everyone else was doing, but like what's unique about my approach is me. It's like the lens
mhm.
that I see these things through. And I could definitely speak to, some topics that other people in the space have talked about. So very cool technique.
Yeah, so again, it just
Mhm.
gives you ideas. And oh, by the way, people paid for that content. So
Yeah,
you're giving them stuff for free that's related to stuff that people found valuable enough to pay for.
absolutely.
So just a way to think about it.
Great tip.
The other things, again, social media is meant to be social. So
Mhm.
the other thing is think about showing people behind the scenes photos. Highlight a customer, do a live video, engage with people, post a stories are expected to overtake regular posts. Um, and they're on their way to do that with engagement right now. So stories are huge into what you can do. You can share inspirational quotes. Talk about a book that
Yeah.
you've read. People are always on the lookout for new books and things like that.
Mhm.
Um, Share your story. Talk about why you went into business. Talk about why, one of the things that you do in your book is you talk about why you like LinkedIn.
Right. Mhm.
So that's important. People like to feel that connection.
Yeah.
So if you give them your why, that's just a huge benefit. You can share things that you're thankful for. People
Mhm.
love to hear that. So, again, you can share downloadables. You can share, I think you got a webinar coming up.
Mhm.
You can share about webinars. Again, these are things that add value.
Do you feel like this is almost like a skill? It's I sometimes I use like analogies, and sometimes it's like fitness. Like for me growing up, I participated in some high school sports and cheerleading and, ran track. I was never very good, but I got into this pattern of fitness. And then when I became an adult, it's like you either keep up with that track or you stop altogether. But like for me, I enjoyed doing physical activities to keep myself fit. So now it's like at least a couple times a week I'll go for a walk or go to the gym or do that. And I don't have to think too hard about it. As opposed to if you're not working out at all and you're starting a fitness routine, it can feel overwhelming. Is content marketing the same way, Kendra? Do you
Yes.
develop muscles that now know what to do or
You definitely do, because you get yourself into the habit of thinking about what you're doing. I call it pulling things up off the cutting room floor.
right?
Because if you think about all of the things that you do on a regular basis, and again, this is something I think that Brenda does really well, that you do really well, and that is, showing something that you found or showing something in your feed and how you responded, whatever it happens to be, that's really important. And so if you're coaching, if you're doing email marketing, showing those examples of what's left over from your regular day adds value to people, because you're an expert in what you do.
Right. I feel
And
like
I think that
sometimes
that's really
it's
important.
even things that I look at your desktop, I see you've got books behind you, and for me, I look at what's in front of me or behind me. So I've got like a mug,
Mhm.
I've got one
Woo-hoo.
side, it's my social media pie, and my other side is my business logo, right?
Mhm.
And then when I do webinars, I have little props that I will hold up, and one of them is my very high tech, low tech. You know,
Mhm.
Zoom does this, but I always hold this up, and it makes people smile. And sometimes I hold up this. So if you
Mhm.
guys are liking this video, whether you're watching it right now live or in playback, please give a like below. And if you're watching it on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel. It's like things like that, Kendra, right? It's not scripted, but
Mm-mm.
it's to your point, pulling things from behind the scenes, like what's
Mhm.
in front of you right now. I'm going to take a photo and post it on Instagram right now because I just remember that. It's like pulling things up, but you and I have both developed that little muscle that
It
we're
keeps it top
comfortable
of
doing this.
mind. And I mean, and I'll give you so I was at an event pre-pandemic, because that's when we had events. I was at a fundraiser, and I was there with a group of clients, and we were sitting there, and they started to leave, and then
Yeah.
someone's like, "We didn't take a picture for social media." I'm like, "Dang it." Like,
Yeah.
that's my job. I'm like, I was off the clock when I was there. So I
It's
didn't think about it.
yeah, it's
And
almost
so,
like when
yeah,
somebody says we should get a picture, like stop what you're doing and get the picture right then. Like
exactly
don't say
then.
we're going to do it before we leave because you're going to forget about it. And it always I don't know about you, but it always to me feels a little goofy. Like, should I have not said that? But I'm like, it's going to be great content. They're going to love it later.
Mhm.
That's what I remember.
They
They're going to love
are.
that I did that later. Right.
And one of the things I do, I actually will do about an hour into the event, I have started to add a reminder on my calendar that'll pop up or
Oh, that's
vibrate on
good.
my
I like
watch or
that.
whatever and say, take a picture. And I'm like, dang it, I didn't do that yet.
Yeah.
But I mean, we all forget, and that's okay. But you really need to make sure that you put processes in place to keep that top of mind. So I like to plan a lot of my social media once a week to do what I call my baseline posts. So I'll supplement throughout the week with real things, but that happen. But I will actually set I set about 45 minutes on Sundays when it's
Hmm.
nice and quiet, where I can actually think about what I'm going to post through the rest of the week. And then I put those calendar reminders if there's certain things that are happening.
Mm.
So if there's something that's happening like this,
Yeah.
so hopefully I'll share your picture, but making sure that we have those pictures to share out and don't forget about them.
Right.
Those are really important. But I can also have that baseline content so that if nothing extra is happening,
Hmm.
I don't have to worry or panic about having anything extra. I've got that baseline taken care of for the week.
I love it. So you're kind of doing the content planning on a Sunday. What I heard you say is when it's quiet and there's not a lot. Because in the middle of the week, when you're worried about a client issue or some fire you're
Mhm.
putting out or whatever, that's not the time to do content. It's really like when you have time to do it. Now, do you use a content calendar, or are
Mhm.
you kind of It sounds like you've got some structure, but sometimes you wing it. So
Mhm.
what's your advice for people that are watching in terms of that approach?
Yeah, so I love to have what I call baseline content. So
Hmm.
then I don't have to freak out.
Yeah.
You can actually plan baseline content for the whole month. Even with my clients that I do social media for, I encourage them to supplement anything that I do. Their stuff's going to get more engagement than the stuff that I post, unless they're sending me a post,
Yeah.
because people like to interact with people and people that they see doing things and stuff like that. So there's only so many articles that I can share and things like that. So, couple things to think about when doing that. So again, I like to schedule. So that's where a paid plan is also very valuable. Something like Hootsuite or Buffer. I use
Yeah.
a system called CoSchedule,
Okay.
that is a bit of a task manager, and conversation manager and things like that. If you want to go high end, you're looking at CoSchedule or Sprout Social.
Okay.
And they've got really good analytics and things like that. But Hootsuite will let you schedule and upload a CSV or a Google Sheet. One tip on uploading: always use Google Sheets. I am a
Okay.
Microsoft girl through and through. However, Excel really likes to add in extra characters for some
Okay.
reason in the upload. So always use Google Sheets.
Okay.
But I would upload those posts, be done with it. And then when you're doing those supplemental posts and tagging people and companies and things like that, you want to do that native
Yeah.
the um, to the system that you're in. And
Okay. What
again,
does that mean? Native to the system that you're in. Tell me about
so
that.
in LinkedIn, you would
Hmm.
post in LinkedIn. I wouldn't
Right.
post I wouldn't post a picture through Hootsuite to tag you in it and things like that.
Okay.
Or I wouldn't post a video necessarily through Hootsuite. I would just, if it's a daily post, I actually go to those platforms and post it
Right.
there
And
because it's
part
just
of the reason
easier
for
for the
that too.
tagging and stuff.
Yeah, part of the reason for that too. I mean, I know, but I'm asking you the question on this too
Mhm.
is, aren't there limitations with those systems where things don't do what they should? Or tell us a little bit about that.
Sometimes. So
Mm,
again, that's the tip between Excel and Google Sheets.
yeah.
Again, sometimes there's a bump in the road. A lot of times with tagging, especially with the increased privacy and things like that the different
Mhm.
systems are coming out with, it's harder to tag and harder to find people. It's not too terrible to find businesses if you're tagging other businesses. But again, tagging is what's going to give you reach. It's going to make sure that people are appreciative. Again, building off what you talked about the other day, it's giving to get. And so when you're tagging and
Mhm.
recognizing other people and other organizations, that's just easier to do inside Facebook, LinkedIn, et cetera, to make sure that you're getting the right people.
Yeah, no, I love that tip. And anytime someone says we should take a photo, you remember me saying, I'm like, we'll do it, let's do it right now. The
Yeah.
same thing happens when someone references, hey, you should tag people or companies. I want to invite people that are watching this right now. I want you guys to tag companies or people below. Like, who should be watching this video? Who do you know that's struggling with? And we're talking about, content ideas, but when I say that, you might be like, what's that mean? Who is struggling with what do I post on LinkedIn? What do I do in my email newsletters? What do I do on Facebook or Instagram? Tag them in below. They'll get a notification that they were tagged in, and then they'll be brought back to the video where they can watch the whole thing all the way through. And then they might reach out to you and say, hey, thank you. That Kendra was amazing. I learned about these cool new tips, these new tools, scheduling. So you're actually doing them a favor, and that's part of the relationship building process, right, Kendra?
Yep. Yeah, I think it's, again, the more you can give, the more you get. So again, that's a lot what was discussed yesterday, on your last live. So, but it was, yeah, very, very much what I tell people all the time.
Awesome. Well, I want to start to shift our conversation. It's just flowing by here. I feel like we could talk for hours, but I want to get our audience into the conversation too. And I've just dropped a ticker on screen to remind you guys to please comment below. And it does take about 30 seconds, Kendra, from the time I say in a live video,
Mhm.
hey, comment below until people hear it. And then maybe another 15, 30 seconds, a minute for them to think of questions. So I'm vamping a little bit as we're going through the process here. As we're waiting for those questions to come in, I want to pull up a couple comments that we've received already. And I got to, pull up this comment from Carrie Lizette. She, gets asked all the time what to wear on camera. And I'm going to pull back. I do this a lot, Kendra. I'm like, I don't make mistakes. I have learning experiences. And sometimes I experience things that I want to share with my audience. And one is Guys, look at Kendra. She's like an absolute rock star, professional, polished. She's wearing pearls. Her hair's nicely done. I'm like, got my sweatshirt on. I'm like, I'm a little bit more low key this morning. And I'm like, oh no, Carrie Lazat's here. She's going to tell me I'm not camera ready. But I think sometimes when we say things like that online, when we show people the unpolished, I like to say fresh faced version of myself. It helps to make us a little bit more real. Do you use that in your approach too, Kendra?
Yes. The more you can show real, the more people relate.
Yeah.
I mean, have you seen the comments of like people that are posting about something that they're struggling with or dealing with, or how many DMs have you gotten off of your, tell you to get that audiobook finished, right?
Oh my gosh, that was brilliant. Yeah.
I mean, I've seen it. I've been DMing you or responding in the comments if I'm lazy.
I got it done. It's at the public. Like I'm working with like a producer. Like I did the recording myself, but my hesitation it's just the momentum, and there's a little bit of an expense that's involved in that too. So it's like moving it from me to him, is like a hurdle, but like getting people to help you, I think,
People love that. I
yeah.
mean, you probably got a ton of engagement, a ton of DMs, a ton
Yeah.
of people encouraging you to go.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, I think showing the authentic you is key.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely.
And that just allows people to relate to you more.
Yeah, you feel like a real person. I feel like sometimes when I meet people, they're like, I feel like I've known you for years. And I'm like, I don't recognize your name, but they feel like because you're active so much online, they feel
Mhm.
like they know you. You develop that relationship. Okay, I see a question from Sean, and he's going to send you a connection request. And
Oh,
by the way,
great. Yes.
Kendra, you're open to connecting with people
I
here,
am.
right?
Mhm.
Okay. So
Definitely.
I always like to tell people, always include a personal note. I wish LinkedIn would require that, but just mention that you watched her on the LinkedIn Live with me. And he said, what was the first tool that you mentioned? Not the
And
keyword tool.
that's the answerthepublic.com.
Answerthepublic.com. Let me see if I can
That's the
pull it back up.
prettier interface.
That's this one right here, answerthepublic.com. And by the way, for anyone who's curious about any of these tools, Sean and others, if you watch the playback, it's in the playback, and I'm going to make sure to drop all of these links into the comments on the LinkedIn video as well as in the YouTube playback too, to help people out. So now you got people helping each other out. Hey, Whitney, how are you?
Yes.
Whitney caught the site on there. And we were talking about stories earlier, and I was actually thinking about asking you this. You were talking about telling stories about yourself, your business, your customers, but then within social media, there
There's
is
also the
actually a
stories.
function called stories, like on Instagram and Facebook have it. LinkedIn used to, but we no longer have stories on there. But were you referring to storytelling? Or the
No,
different
actually
stories you bring?
stories. So for Facebook and
Okay.
Instagram, stories are people have a fear of missing out.
Yeah.
And since stories have a limited time with them, they are a great way to get engagement on those because they're only there for a limited time.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So there's that. But yes, storytelling also works too.
storytelling. So there's like two
There
verses
is,
of
yes.
stories that were in there. So Renee is saying, love the ideas, Kendra. Hey Renee, how are you? Thank you so much. And she says, especially the question websites.
Okay.
Um,
I'm glad they're helpful. When I share them with people, it's like the people that still don't know Canva exists. They're like, oh my gosh, this is so cool.
tell
Yes,
us
these
tell
are
us
the other
about
ones.
Canva for people that don't know what Canva is. And I'm going to put that into the link and I'll pull it up on screen real
Oh
quick
yeah.
here too.
So Canva is a design site for non-designers. You want to be careful with it because you can go crazy, but with their templates and things like that. But it is a great site where you can make thumbnails um, and graphics. It'll size everything for you for all the different social platforms. It is a
Mhm.
great place to size, again, thumbnails for YouTube, create Facebook posts, resize images for your website,
Yeah.
and things like that. So I love it. It's a design tool mostly for non-designers, even though the designers are starting to
They're
pick up
getting
on
on.
it because, well, it's easy.
Yeah.
And it's a lot less expensive than Adobe Creative Cloud, which is what my team uses most of the time for the stuff that we are creating.
So you're so polite. You say design tools for non-designers. I call Canva graphic design for dummies. Like it's like, and I'm not a dummy, but I'm not a graphic designer either. but it's essentially takes the guesswork out of, because there's so many templates and things that you can work with
Mhm.
inside the site there.
You
So
don't have to build something and know how many pixels it is, and Canva knows how big that is for you. You don't even
right.
need to know what a pixel is.
Yeah, there you go. And I see Terry starting to tag in some people. Thank you so
Oh,
much, Terry.
great,
And
thanks.
they'll get notifications, so they'll be able to watch this a little bit later on. Ariel, we gave you a shout out earlier, and I'll reference the video and the playback too, because I feel like the topics we talked about yesterday with Ariel, get engagement to get engagement. And today we're talking about how to develop content ideas for your marketing efforts. And I feel like there's so much overlap in these topics, but I think one helps to supplement and help the other. So thank you so
Definitely.
much for watching, Ariel. I've still got my unicorn in the background right here from our
Mhm.
chat yesterday. Let's see, what other questions do we have in here? I'm kind of navigating throughout there. Jeff German. Hey, Jeff, thanks for watching us today. Thanks for
Hey,
joining.
Jeff.
Linda says she loves the idea of asking and answering questions as a post starter. So again, using those resources that you mentioned, Kendra, finding the question and then going in. And are you saying do it as a post, do it as a visual, as a
Mhm.
blog, video? What do you think?
Yep. All of it.
All of the above.
Whatever's gonna fit best for it is really what you wanna use. So
Yeah.
again, it lets you know what people are searching for and what they wanna know. Because I'll have a meeting with a client and be like, "Okay, so what are the questions that you get asked regularly?" And they'll be like, and I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah.
"Okay, okay, I get it. Okay, you can't think of those right now, you're on the spot." This gets, "Oh, yeah." And then
Yeah.
it gets it's just a really great brainstorming tool that lets you know what people are thinking about and what they wanna know more about.
Yeah. Good point. So I want to pull up John Aspirian because I gave him a shout out earlier and it looks like he found us on here and he's saying, I'm not used to seeing you live on Wednesday. I've been doing this series every Tuesday. Kendra was originally scheduled with me in January and we had to move to February. But talk to us about that too, Kendra. I mean, do you do like days of the week posts like marketing, hashtag marketing Monday, or do you recommend that people follow a
Follow
sequencing?
Friday.
Follow
S
Friday, right? Friday shop,
Exactly.
John.
So, I think that for things like the lives, it's
Yeah.
extremely important to have a set calendar. I go live I've got a private Facebook group. You can find it at kendracorman.com/group. That is free for people to join. And we talk about marketing and I give tips every Thursday, from 11 to noon, Eastern. And so having that schedule allows people to tune in. If you move that around,
Mhm.
um, people don't find you.
Yeah.
They're going to tune in for what you're doing. And so yeah, if you go to kendracorman.com, you can see join my Facebook group is the first button right below the hi, I'm Kendra.
Right here. Yeah.
So yeah, so you can join that. It's a Facebook community. I just started it late last year, so it's still building. But again, doing it on a regular basis at a certain day and time is important.
Okay.
Um, but I like to mix up things like writing tip Wednesday and follow Friday. I don't necessarily do writing tip Wednesday every week. I might do it for
Right.
3 weeks in a row or maybe every other week. So
That's a
those are
good
good, especially
Mhm.
if you're struggling with content.
Yeah.
But I would say, outside of live videos or live recordings, um, you don't necessarily have to stick to the same schedule.
But I think it's just, I mean, gonna go back to my fitness routine analogy
Mhm.
too.
It helps you.
It's getting, I think for some people it's at the start of the process, it's getting into the routine. I mean, remember when I first started running track in high school, there was a series of things that we did. And I don't remember, it was like Monday we would run like a mile in around the neighborhood. Tuesday would be like around the track and we would do sprints, and Wednesday we would do something different, and Thursday was, relays. And by the end of the week we kind of had tried different things, and then over time your body remembers. Monday we run around the block, Tuesday we do the track, right? So
Mhm.
I think to your point of having some main content items or categories that you work with, and then you can kind of fill in the blanks as you go. I think that can be a good tool to create some guidelines for you to get started if you're struggling. Pick like every Monday is a marketing Monday, and every Thursday, maybe it's a testimonial Thursday. I'm getting an
Mhm.
alliteration here, right? Where you share a feature, or maybe you have Ask the Expert Friday, right? We pull up
Yep.
a question. So coming up with themes, I think, could be helpful. Kendra, as we start, we're getting towards the end of our conversation here today, and I did pull up your website. Is there anything else you want to point out while I have the website up
You
before
can
we?
scroll down a little bit. One of the
Yeah,
things, if you move down to that middle thing, so you've got the 30 days of social media post ideas. So you can
nice. Yeah.
request that download. It gives you things like post a theme day,
Okay.
do some customer highlights, share a tip, document your process.
Yeah.
There's just a ton of different things. I've got 30 different ideas that can keep you going for a lot longer than 30 days if you rotate through them. And just questions and easy ways to think about keeping social media social.
Awesome. Love it. Great tool. And I know I mentioned your LinkedIn URL earlier. I'm going to
Mhm.
actually navigate over here to your profile right now on LinkedIn so people can see. This is, if you visit Kendra's profile, this is the right Kendra. You're looking for
Yes,
her
it
on LinkedIn.
is.
And you are open to people
Mhm.
inviting you to
Yes.
connect on LinkedIn. I see. And
Mhm.
you do have creator mode on, right, Kendra? Where
I do believe so. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
so if for those of you who aren't aware, if you visit Kendra's profile and you're not connected, the default button will say follow. That's going to be the blue button. If you want to connect with her, you'll have to go to the more button. Now I'm already connected, so you're not going to see it in my view right now. But if you click under more, you'll see an option that will either say personalized invite or connect. If you're on the mobile device, you always want to click on personalized invite to get to that option where you can add a note. Really great conversation here today, Kendra. Any final comments for people that are watching?
No, I would say, again, if you run out of ideas, there's plenty of places to get ideas, and
Mhm.
always be thinking and starting with what people are asking you.
Yeah. I love it. Kind of shifting to that audience point of view, so important in the offers. And don't be pushing with your sales messages. Start with
No.
what are people looking for?
80/20 rule, 80% value added, 20% selling. And when you're selling, make sure you're still adding value.
There you go. I love it. Such great advice for all of us here today, Kendra. Thank you so much. Anything else you're working on that we should be aware of? I know you were doing some things in January. We missed the opportunity to help you promote that. So is there anything else coming up for you that folks should know about?
Um, no, most everything. So in my Facebook group, again, I go live with live tips weekly on Thursdays. So if
Okay.
you are interested in marketing tips or have questions or even want to share some of the successes and things that you're doing, please feel free to join. We'd love to hear and celebrate with you or answer your questions and share what we've found through our experience. And
Mhm.
again, it's meant to be a community to really help people grow. So.
Awesome. Well, you mentioned the word share, which reminded me, I want to ask all of you guys to, if you did enjoy this video, as soon as it's done playing, go back to the post and there'll be a little share button at the bottom. Click on share and then share it on LinkedIn or on Facebook. You can even share it off of the YouTube into other channels and tell people something that you learned by watching the video. Tag Kendra and me in your post and we'll get a notification. We'll thank you. And if you're struggling with, gosh, I don't know what to post today on social media, take this as a video and share this along and tag Kendra in that. It's a
Yeah,
great way of
and
spreading
introduce
the
it with
word.
something that you learned, or what was your favorite site that we talked about, or, anything along those lines. Again, it showcases your personality and a little bit of you while you're sharing that content.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Kendra. Well, I think we're gonna buckle down. We're getting ready for that winter snow here, right?
Yep.
Any minute it's supposed to fall. I hear by noon or I don't know, by 2 o'clock. We'll see what happens here today. But it was a delight seeing you virtually, and I look forward to seeing you at an upcoming, I don't know if it'll be Troy Chamber or in Forum, but I'm sure we'll see each other around the block here soon.
Yeah. All right. Thanks again for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. Pleasure as always. And thank all of you guys for watching today. I hope you found this conversation helpful. If you did, please comment below if you haven't commented yet. Comments let us know that you're watching. If you're just watching, you never interacted with the post, we can't see that you watched the video. So comments actually help us give us feedback on was this content, was this topic valuable today? And we look forward to seeing all of you on LinkedIn. Take care, everyone. Have a safe and healthy week, and we'll see you again soon. Bye bye.
Bye.